Immaculée wanted to understand who God was. She needed to. So when the pastor who was hiding the women brought them food, she asked him for something else.
I did ask for the Bible. Oh, my soul was tasty. I didn't care about my body anymore. I was reading the Bible to get a guidance, to know the truth. Now I want to know, step by step, what do you want me to do? I want to read line by line. If you say trust, I want to try it. If you want to tell me love them, let me try it.
Reading a passage from her book Left to Tell, Immaculée recalls a time when she realized she would never be the same again.
7 weeks in the bathroom have left us all frighteningly gaunt. We were shrinking, and our starvation diet left us weak and lightheaded. I could tell by my clothes that I have lost at least 40 pounds. Our skin was pale, our lips were cracked, and our gums were swollen and sore. To make matters worse, since we hadn't showered or changed clothes, we were plagued by a vicious infestation of body lice. We could see them marching across our faces. I can remember this. We may not have been a pretty sight, but I had never felt more beautiful. I can remember this. I swear. I'm falling in love with God. It felt like I had all I wanted in life. That time was thanking God, where you feel every cell in your body is responding to God's love. And this time I was asking God, tell me what you want me to do. I would just do it.
Her relationship with the Lord grew, and despite constant torment from the killers, she had faith the Lord would protect her.
He said, I'm going to put on the cross on the door. No one will ever cross this door. And he said, because my cross is there, he said, trust me, I'll hear your prayers.
And not only did he protect her, but he also prepared her.
He said, when you come out, your parents will be dead. Everybody you left behind will be gone. But he said, if you continue to trust me, if you continue to call upon me, I will be here with you. I will be here with you, I will love you, and I will give you more than my parents can give you. I remember screaming out, saying, if my parents can be taken care by you, and if you can be my father, my everything, what do I worry about?
Immaculée would later find that her mother, father, and brothers had been viciously beaten and slaughtered, chopped to death by machete. How did you not hate the people who killed your family?
It was a grace. But it didn't happen because I wanted it to happen. It happened because I took the decision to pray, to hold on to God, to understand God. And once you understand who He is, He's all-loving. There's a time where I felt that He was teaching me about forgiveness and hating. I remember about love. And of course I'm like, oh please, those people, they're evil. That was my first reaction. Don't tell me to love them. And then I was like, you know what, just tell me, how do I do that? The sin is terrible, Immaculée. The sin is terrible. Hate it. And how do you hate it? Is to pray for these people to be delivered from the power of evil. How do you hate the person who was created by the same God?
After 91 days in the bathroom, she finally thought it was safe to leave. Weak and feeble, she knew that only God could have prepared her for what came next.
Around the road were dead bodies. That was, from the time we came out of the bathroom, everywhere we were passing by was dead bodies.
Immaculée and 50 other Tutsi refugees were promised safety by French soldiers. They were mortified when the French abandoned them right in the middle of 1,000 Hutu militia.
They have machete with blood. Everyone have machetes. They're right there.
Did you think that you were going to die that day?
It crossed my mind in a second. This is it. This is it. And then something was like, you don't give up this last moment. You trusted in God so much. And I was telling God, I'm like, you know what? You showed me that you are around. You are here. You are not going to let this happen now. I trusted you in the bathroom. They were so close. You showed me that you were the one doing it. It was not luck. It was not a coincidence. It was because you were there. And something was telling me, this is how you are going to know that I'm around you. And one of the killers came around and he looked at me, angry. I can remember his red eyes, and he's pushing me down. He's like, almost like, I got you. This is a battle of like evil and good. I can feel God is going to talk. God is going to do it, not me. I'm like, God, come here. I'm looking at him. I am praying for the evil to come out. I am like, go away, evil. And the man was losing strength in his eyes.
The man dropped his machete and walked away. Immaculée led the group right through the crowd of killers, and although they circled her like sharks who've smelled blood, not one of them touched her or the other Tutsis.
And you know what? I'm like, God, if they touch me, if they cut, the machete is not going to touch me. So strong, like, you make it. You said you can do all things.
Immaculée was one of few who survived that horrific genocide. As the months passed and the fate of her family sunk in, God's compassion, grace, and love held her and comforted her. The full power of God in her life would never be as clear as when she came face to face with the man who killed her family.
I went there first of all because the guy who was the chief of the prison, he was a friend of my father. He called me. He wanted me to go to the prison. He wanted me to face him. He wanted me to slap him. You know, for him, he thought that this is the best he can do for survivors. Like him, he was a survivor also.
The leader of our group told us to raid a house, to strip them naked, rape them, and then kill them with swords and machetes.
See, somebody I know, I respected. Somebody I used to go to his home like a parent. And he came, I hated to see him dirty. I was crying. I saw him like that. I felt bad. I started to compare him with my father. What if my
You felt bad for the man who killed your family?
I did.
And who hunted you down like an animal. But you felt bad for him?
I did. I'm like, oh, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. Really, I forgive you. Deal with it. It is bigger than me. Just deal with it. I hope you can find hope. And you know, it was a relief that now I know nothing is going to test me more than this.
Immaculée had found freedom in more ways than one. Today, she lives in New York with her husband and 2 children. On a recent visit to Rwanda, she grieved for the souls lost and the ones that would never see the face of God.
But what I feel is that just to have God as number 1 in your life is the greatest blessing, really. And then everything else comes second, you know? Because once you love him, once you get to understand his role in your life, truly, sincerely, you forgive, you love, you do everything else. I mean, everything good comes out of that relationship with him. I think that's where he took me to understand